what Jason just said there. He was already anticipating the intro. Welcome in, everybody, to Blue Jays today, where the Blue Jays have just made another move, another starting pitcher move. They got MVP of the KBO, Cody Ponce. And if you didn't know who Cody Ponce was, don't worry. I barely knew who he was just 10 minutes ago.
You're not alone.
You're not alone. So we're going to be reacting to this signing, breaking down what we are finding out about him, what he did over there in the KBO, because, spoiler, he was in the MLB, was pretty bad. Goes to the NPB for a few seasons, and then the KBO last year, wins MVP, and then the Blue Jays signed him for 3 years, $30 million. So we're going to break down what he did over there that's changed, and what can we expect from him moving forward. Before we do, hit that like button, smash the subscribe button. We got more moves. Let's celebrate. I'm your host, Don Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog. I do see Gaming Freak in here saying, let's go, love this signing. Us as well. I also see somebody in there saying the echo is real. If you guys could update us on that, if that continues. We did just audio test and it sounded fine, so we'll see what happens right there. But honestly, didn't see this one coming. Just goes to show that Ross Atkins is he's literally like Chef Ramsay in the kitchen right now, cooking things up, serving us on a silver platter. Not only Dylan Cease less than a week ago, but now goes out and does it again with the KBO MVP. Obviously not same caliber of Dylan Cease, but I mean, like, he is not wasting any time, dude.
No, this was definitely not expected, man. We saw earlier today that Ben Nicholson-Smith came out and said that there was another move in the wings, potentially a starting pitcher for the Blue Jays. I didn't think it would happen this quick. Ross is getting the job done. That's what I like to see, because he knows the most important thing for this winter meetings is to get the big fish. The Kyle Tuckers, the Bo Bichette's, get that big bat in the lineup where, while everyone's looking at those guys, and we've learned from this in the past, go take care of business. Get the shit that you need, which is your pitching. You needed your pitching. You needed some starting pitching. And of course, I still think they're going to be in on some bullpen, but that's going to come, I think, probably later this week. He's going to take care of business and then focus on the real prize.
100%, guys. Let's immediately flash over to all that. I love the deal. I love the amount of financial, I guess, just the investment that the Jays are making right here. It's not a lot.
Barely anything.
For us, it is not a lot. 3 years, $30 million on Cody Ponce. So, again, we don't know all of the details of this deal just yet, but simple math means 10, 10, 10. Cody Ponce, KBO MVP. I mean, that's so flexible for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah. It's basically like pennies to these guys at this point. $10 million per year is nothing.
Exactly, and it means that it's like they are, or they can feel comfortable anyways, putting him in the bullpen if they want, starting him if they want, like regardless of what happens here, even if Cody Ponce doesn't have it, and there's a lot of reasons to think that he will have it with Toronto. Obviously, the prior year winning MVP over there is a pretty good one, but if he doesn't have it, you're not going to feel too bad because it is only 10. It's
low risk, high reward situation. It is perfect for the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays have done this in the past. I literally said to you right before we hit record, this feels like almost like a Yusei Kikuchi, where a guy has success overseas. Obviously, before we got Kikuchi, he was over with Seattle for a few years, didn't have success, but we took a flyer on him, and it was a very similar deal. It was about $13-12 million per year for the next 3 years, and there was some good seasons, there were some bad seasons, but overall, I look at that Kikuchi contract, I'm like, that was money well spent, because we did get one very solid year from Kikuchi, and that's kind of, again, we're going to break him down and what we expect from him, but I'm going to say it right now. I'm only expecting one good year, maybe. And if that happens, that $30 million is a win.
Well, and listen, I know that some people will look back at the Yusei Kikuchi timeline with Toronto and think negatively about it. The one thing that you can't knock Yusei Kikuchi for is the fact that that guy was an innings eater.
He pitched.
And you didn't have to pay. Because now it's like the going rate for, an innings eater starter on the open market, you're talking $20 million minimum right here.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's just not what, Yusei Kikuchi was signed for, or in this case, Cody Ponce, who very easily, he pitched 180 innings last year, right? I'm not saying that you're going to get that at the MLB level, but at the very least, he's got a lot of longevity to that arm. He can obviously do it. And if you're the Toronto Blue Jays and you do end up getting anything like that, it is going to be a major win.
Exactly, right? If you had a shitty year, a mediocre year, and a great year, kind of what Kikuchi did, that's a win to me. Let me give some quick shout-outs here to some people throwing in the donos. You got Gaming Freaking here, who's been a member for 19 months, saying, let's go! I love this signing. Shout out to you. You got Strike Baker in here saying, what's next for the Jays? That'll probably be my video room tomorrow, talking about what's next. Daniela saying Ross is cooking. Absolutely love it. Then you got Raguel saying, hey, guys, I think the Jays are trying to move Barrios. That's another conversation.
That's going to be a talking point a little bit later, because I had that thought like 3 minutes after the signing. I'm like, wait a second. What does this mean?
This was what that would open up that opportunity. And then this is a great transition right here. Doug Savona here saying, sorry, who is this guy? Well, let me tell you who this guy is. First things first, I saw this tweet. I believe it was by Ben Verlander, big character out there on MLB Network. He's coming out here and he was saying, let's go, Cody Ponce. He says, great dude. That absolutely figured it out between KBO and MPB stints. 2025 KBO MVP, as we know, with a 1.89 ERA. Blue Jays got themselves a good pitcher and a good human being. I made a short about this, talking about the vibes and overall. Dylan Cease, you know, when that interview with Ernie Clement, Ernie Clement said that, like, yeah, apparently Dylan Cease is a great guy and a great pitcher. So we love him and we want to bring him aboard. Ponce, great dude, apparently, right? So that's obviously great to hear.
Hey, listen, there's something to be said about going out, getting some good people.
Good people
to work with, right? Listen, ultimately, you know, I think about just, you know, from a real life standpoint, okay? Who do you want to work with? You want to work with good people.
Not Framber Valdez. I don't know the guy, but you know what I'm saying? There's
speculation. Speculation. But yeah, you know what? There's right now, anyways, everything that we're hearing is that Cody Ponce is a great dude, good person, somebody that you want to hang around with. You know, you're hanging around with the people that you like. You're probably going to do a lot more. You're probably going to feel confident to do a lot more.
You're going to want to fight for those guys, and you saw that last year with the Blue Jays. They were fighting for these dudes. Even the starting pitchers who weren't pitching that day were fighting for those dudes.
I'm thoroughly convinced that the Toronto Blue Jays in 2025 were a team filled with great people, great guys.
Of course, right? And then some comments said it in my short today, saying that, you know, Ernie Clement's the heart and soul, and who would have thought that, right? Like Ernie Clement developing into the heart and soul of the Blue Jays, but I guarantee you there's multiple people contributing to that. Let's talk, and now he's a great person. Let's talk about the numbers, because everyone wants to know the numbers. Let's bring up the bad before we bring up the good. Cody Ponce, in his MLB career, has not been very good. In his MLB career, he had a 5.86 ERA. Now, that's only through 20 games, so obviously not very
only
good.
5 starts, too.
5 starts, wasn't very long, right? He came up through the minors. He debuted with the Pirates. And then, or Milwaukee, did he debut? This is so confusing when they go minor league.
All Pittsburgh.
It's all Pittsburgh in the major league.
2020 and then 2021.
Then he left. He goes over to the MPB in 2022, and he had some success, some failures too. Like 2024, he had an ERA of 4.61, and in NPB, that's not actually very good. But then 2025 is where all of a sudden things started clicking for him, and he figured it out. Last year, like Ben Verlander said, he had a 1.89 ERA, a 0.935 WHIP, and here's the innings eater you're talking about, a 180.2, and we love to see that. And again, like it's one good year. He doesn't have a long sample size of good years, but there is some other things to back it up on why he was so good, and what makes the investment worth it.
Quick shout out here to Shenanigans, $5 donation. Couple of shenanigans with his initial comment saying, "Oh my God, I'm an idiot. I had 2 tabs open." Hence the echo. Thank you, W. I've actually done that before myself and thought the exact same thing. So we've all been there, man. Going back to Cody Ponce and what it is that he did in MLB and then proceeded to do in the KBO. There were changes made between who he was as a pitcher in 2020 and 2021 to where he is right now. And obviously, like, that's a long time ago. We are talking quite literally 4 seasons of baseball between then and now. That's a long time. A lot of development has transpired there. And apparently, it all starts with the fastball with a little bit of a tick up in velocity. It was 93 on average when he was over there in MLB. And now that thing's up at 95 miles per hour. Good starting point, I would say.
Absolutely. 95.5 miles per hour on the fastball. And he's got 2 other pitches. He's got the curveball, and I believe he's also got a cutter and a changeup. He's got a lot of pitches, actually. But the one pitch that he did add in the Blue Jays, you guys know they love pitchers who can throw the dang splitter. They got, Trey Savage. They've got Kevin Gausman. They even have Bowden Francis at a time developing that splitter. I don't know where he's going to be next year, but that's another conversation. But he developed a splitter that was largely part of why he was successful in the prior year. So if the Blue Jays recognize that and they go, okay, we know how to utilize this. We got a guy who's been doing it for years. We got a young rookie who's doing it better than anybody right now that crazy arm angle. Let's bring you in and let's surround you with these guys so you can, shoot the shot. Right, and talk baseball, and you can absolutely develop even further into an MLB pitcher.
I'll tell you what, man. I'm almost guaranteeing that it doesn't work like this, but in a fantastical world where it did work like this, I mean, Pete Walker, in terms of like developing a singular pitch, he is up there with the splitter. He is like an ace when it comes to developing or helping a pitcher develop the splitter. So clearly, if they see something over there that they liked in Cody Ponce from that prior season, when that was his secondary pitch, when that was the put away pitch, and they're thinking, hey, maybe what we did with Kevin Gausman, maybe what we've done with him, we can take that, we can apply that to you. We think it's going to translate. I like that a lot, right? I can understand the skepticism of signing a guy with a high 5 ERA if there hadn't been any changes from who he was to who he is right now. But it's clear, you add yourself a new pitch that turns into your secondary put away pitch, you tick up on the fastball, and of course, apparently the off-speed stuff is looking better. I don't know if that's a product of him or a product of his competition, but
probably
still looking better right there. That's enough for me to go, all right, let's shoot a shot.
Yeah, what's funny is, Kevin Gausman, for the long part of his career, was very unsuccessful. And then what do you do over there in San Fran? He added the splitter. And then it was like 1 or 2 year sample size of, okay, you're elite, bring him over here. He's been elite.
Yeah.
So, like, clearly they saw something and they liked it and they applied it. Now, what is the realistic expectation for Cody Ponce joining the Blue Jays? What can we expect from him? Well, actually, Ben Turner grabbed this from, I believe it's N. Saris right here, a little article right now, breaking down Cody Ponce and what people can expect from him. And he uses some actual case examples in the past of players coming over from the KBO that were prior in the MLB and then expecting a different result this time around. Those two pitchers were Merrill Kelly and Eric Fetty. So Merrill Kelly, obviously, we know, came from the KBO, and he's been fantastic. Turned his big
trade
career,
target of ours for a while.
A big trade target, and he was awesome, and he's had great success in the league. Everyone wants, when you're getting a guy from the KBO, to become like a Merrill Kelly. Well, Eric Fetty actually came over recently and was pretty successful in the last couple seasons. So he's kind of saying here, well, everyone wants a Merrill Kelly, but they'll settle for an Eric Fetty. Well, here's the thing about Cody Ponce. When you're looking at Kelly, he upped his velocity and added a cutter. Okay, you're looking at Cody Ponce, upped his velocity, added a new pitch. But Fetty didn't add any velocity, but he added a sweeper that ended up being his second most thrown pitch while he came back to the States. Well, you can make the same argument with Cody Ponce. He added the splitter. And because you see it right there, good news for whoever signs Cody Ponce, that he did both of those things.
Right.
Up velocity, added a secondary wipeout pitch. So if you're kind of looking at those two good examples that came from the KBO recently, Cody Ponce might just be the best of both worlds, and that's good.
Yeah, and those are great comparisons. Obviously, it's ignorant for us to say, oh, we just got Merrill Kelly, because we don't know how it's going to translate. And it's been a long time since he's been at the MLB level, right? We are talking about 4 seasons without him being in MLB. We're looking at it from the positive standpoint, but if I was a glass half empty guy, then you could certainly make some arguments that he hasn't pitched at this level for a long period. But that's why I always go back to the contract. And I think about it being 3 years, $30 million, $10 million lottery ticket on what could be some really good upside. And for the Toronto Blue Jays, they don't really even, we want it to be that big jackpot lottery hit. But they're not relying on it, because I think about that rotation right now. You just added in Dylan Cease. You got Kevin Gausman. We're really wondering what we're going to do with Jose Barrios. Trey Savage is going to be a favorite for Rookie of the Year. You have so many guys in that rotation right now.
What's funny is Fangraphs just knocked out Trey Savage from the rotation.
Well, I'm going to have to have a conversation with Fangraphs.
But that's the follow-up, and I think this is where my video will be tomorrow about, is obviously, I want Trey Savage in the rotation, and I want Cody Ponce because I want to see what he can do with a full, 32 starts in the MLB level after adding the splitter, upping the velocity. What the frick do you do with Jose Barrios?
Let alone, we ain't going to talk about Eric Lauer.
And Eric Lauer's destined for the bullpen. He's the lefty that we need. Eric Lauer, that's fine, man. If you want to do that, do that. But, this is a great dart throw, dice roll, whatever analogy you want to use. It is a great gamble. It's literally I'm getting the best pot odds. I'm not risking a whole lot. It's bet $1, 50-50 chance you get $5. Okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm taking that bet every single time. That's what it feels like for me. And if I miss the 50-50, whatever, it cost me $1. Guess what? There will probably be another, no offense to Cody Ponce, Cody Ponce later down the line that I can go and replace my roster with. There always has been for the Blue Jays for the last few seasons.
Quick shout out here to Olms with a $699 donation. Hinja and Ryu doing some work. Ponce played with Ryu, and Ponce even wore a Rio Blue Jays jersey out of respect to Rio. You love it. That's a deep cut right there, man. It's been a minute since I've thought about that, man. But yeah, I guess that's kind of the last guy from over there that's got those connections, right? So
and that Hyun-Jin Ryu signing just set it all off for the Blue Jays.
Takes me back, man. Takes me back. That was the first one out of effectively the first free agent out of notable free agents that chose Toronto before anybody chose Toronto. And yeah, you can really bring it back all the way there to think about the kickoff of the Vladdy, the Bo, and then just us being a literal dominant force on free agency ever since.
Yeah, it's paying dividends, man. Also, another shout out here to Mark. There we go. Mark Tremblay saying, great signing. Pete Walker can fine-tune him, and we could have a strong sleeper here. So, absolutely, man. I think overall, we said it. Great, low risk, high reward situation here for Cody Ponce, but that also leads us, we'll talk about a little bit here. What happens now? You can't pitch Trey Savage and Barrios in the same rotation, or Cody Ponce and Barrios in this situation.
There's a lot of people in the chat right now talking about what do you do? What's the next move, right? And the one that's been rumored the most here is if the Toronto Blue Jays decide to shop around Jose Barrios, which is, I believe it was actually Ben Nicholson-Smith.
Yeah, he's been on it.
He's been that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I used that, I brought him up because, he has been on it recently. He kind of called that this signing was coming. He kind of called without naming them, saying that, they're going to go out, they're going to go get a big-time starter, Dylan Cease. They're going to go out, they're going to go get a secondary starter, Cody Ponce. And he also brought up the idea that they were starting to listen on moving Lamakina, which feels crazy because he was, at a time, one of the biggest trades, biggest signings of the Toronto Blue Jays. Opening day starter, I believe, in one of those seasons. And now we're thinking about moving on from him. So where you're at right now.
This past season.
Literally.
This past season.
Was it this past year?
Yeah, he started opening day for us. Is that crazy?
Insanity.
Luxury, right?
Genuinely insanity, right? So now I got to ask you, you look at that rotation right now. You got Gosman for another year at the top. You got Dylan Cease. Shane Bieber for another season. You got, now you still have Jose for what could be a one-year deal, or if he plays badly, it's actually going to turn into a 3-year deal because he might want to take his player option right there. Yeah. And then you also have Cody Ponce. You also have Trey Savage. And then in the mix of all of this, you still do have Eric Lauer. Are you comfortable at this point trading one of those guys away, and maybe that being Jose Barrios?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we have a lot of luxury right here, and hindsight's 2020. If there's an injury that happens, or two, you could be thinking, oh man, I really wish we had a Jose Barrios. He's still a good pitcher. I mean, I'm looking at literally just last year, and I was looking him up. Where the heck did it go? Right over here. He had a 4.17 ERA. But now with this deep rotation, you're looking at a 4.17 ERA, and you're like, you're the outsider looking in. That's how good this rotation
luxury,
is.
man.
It's luxury. I feel like the LA Dodgers right now with all the luxury we have. We can just toss guys like Jose Barrios into the trade market and whatever. But I would consider and I would flirt with a Jose Barrios trade, because what if he does have a bad year? And then he picks up that player option. Now you're giving him, I think it's $24 million per year for the next 2 years, so $48 million. That's money I could be putting elsewhere right now into some guys that I really want. So if he has a bad year, now I'm guaranteed that I'm going to be locked into this player contract that I don't want to be in.
That's the thing, right? I just don't know if that risk of having him on the roster, having it not pan out, and then having him pick up that option, I don't know if that's worth the risk for the Toronto Blue Jays, because now you have so many other individuals on your team who you'd probably rather pitch anyways, right, to give them a shot. So it kind of feels like they're now in a situation where, yes, it does make the most sense to trade away Jose Barrios and rock with the guys that you have. They're also, we've been talking about this for a while, establishing their pillars. I'm not saying that Cody Ponce is going to be the next Kevin Gosman, but now walking into next season, you still have a guy under contract.
Yeah, like 2027, you mean?
Yes. Yeah, exactly, right? You still have a guy under contract where it's like, okay, here he is. It might not be to the same caliber of Kevin Gosman, but it's still a guy that you can slot in there and feel confident rolling out.
Again, a pillar, I'm not asking for ace-level stuff. I'm asking for a Yusei Kikuchi type of thing where, of the 3 years, you give me one excellent one mid, one bad one we could toss in the garbage can, and that would totally be okay. Because, 2027, now you're guaranteed Trey Savage, guaranteed Dylan Cease, and then Cody Ponce. And then at that point, you only need to make 2 more moves, really, to go and fill out that rotation, whether it be a 1-year signing or a guy coming out of the system. So Blue Jays are setting themselves up for success.
So let me ask you this then, right? Because I think we're kind of aligned right now that the rotation at this current juncture time is full. It is full.
It's so full.
So
and I love it.
And a lot of people are saying it's Jose Barrios that could be the trade person.
Right.
Is there anybody else in that rotation that you could see Toronto moving on from, or is he really the only name that's like the only guy on the outside looking in?
That's it. You can't trade Gausman. I know he's got 1 year left, but like you can't do that. If you want
be a bit of a vibe killer.
If you want to be competitive, you can't trade Kevin Gausman, right? You're not trading Trey Savage. That's too much capital right there.
No, it's Paul Skeens coming back.
Paul Skeens, something like that. Obviously, you're not trading Dylan Cease. You're not trading Cody Ponce. You just got these guys. You're not trading Shane Bieber. He's coming back. He's a vibes guy, good clubhouse guy. So really, it's Jose Barrios has been here for a while, who's got that kind of ugly unknown of that player contract. Or
It does feel like really the only one that kind of makes sense. It feels like you could wrap your head around some of those other guys dealing them, but it feels like we are shoving a square into a circle right here. Whereas Jose, moving on from him at this current juncture, just feels like. And it might even be the best thing for him, too. Yeah, because is he going to get all the innings here?
And also, don't get me wrong, I could be throwing out stuff out of nowhere, but wasn't there a little bit of like a discrepancy in the whole end of the season where like he wanted to come back, but they didn't come back? Like,
there was a little bit from what I read, and again, this could just be speculation, right? We're not in that building. We don't hear these internal conversations, but there was just a tiny little bit of a rumbling coming out that there might have been a little bit of sore feelings about how he was utilized down the stretch, or how he wanted to be utilized. Also, as well, this is a guy who has never missed a start prior to the end of this last season, so you have to imagine, like, that's got to be pretty draining on him just from a human standpoint. Like, that was, I don't want to say his claim to fame, but like I'm sure that's something that was not sitting well with him.
So, he didn't get the 32.
He didn't, right? But he's an Iron Man, and like something like that is obviously hyper competitive. So apparently there was a couple little sour feelings right there, and then when factoring in the contract, thinking about who's already in this rotation. It's starting to make a lot more sense to me that this might be the next move.
Vine Smash saying 7-man rotation with a 5-man bullpen incoming. That would be absolutely ludicrous if that were to happen.
Just treat the entire season like it's the playoffs.
Yeah.
You can pitch your starters to relieve games because you got so fucking many of them.
That's right. I mean, again, like, is that a reality? I was actually looking at it right now because they knocked out here on Fangraphs Trey Savage to the minors, which we all know that's not going to freaking happen. But let's say, like, he was in there, and now you have Cody Ponce on the outside. Well, Jose Barrios on the outside. You replace him with Tommy Nance, and now the bullpen is Hoffman, Garcia, Varland, Fisher, Little. Barrios, Lauer, Rodriguez. That seems crazy.
Seems kind of crazy. Now, I see some people in here saying that this isn't a slam dunk signing, and I want to be clear. We're not claiming that it is a slam dunk signing, but they're not paying him for it to be that. Right? If you do get that, you're loving life right now. But there's also a reality where Cody Ponce comes in. He's not that great as a starter, and they decide to move him into the bullpen and have him be kind of that long guy. And that's not bad, too, because you're only paying him $10 million a year. So he doesn't need to be the Vladdy of the starting rotation. He needs to be a guy that could potentially eat some innings. And he ate 180.2 of them at the highest caliber in the KBO. I know it doesn't translate 1-to-1, but still, right, there's got to be something there.
If we're, and I don't like comparing money to a player's performance because I'm not now in the mindset of like, it doesn't matter, just the overall payroll is expected of the product. Like, if you pay the 5th highest most amount of money, you should have the top 5 team. But if I am going to use a direct comparison in terms of money, Yusei Kikuchi had a bigger deal than Cody Ponce when he signed with the Blue Jays. And over his tenure with the Blue Jays, he had a 0.8 WAR. Can Cody Ponce have over a 1 WAR than him? And it would already be a win because he's getting paid less.
You say through a 384 innings. That's where that deal made sense for Toronto. Is they had a lot of innings. Were they the highest quality? Not always. Not always.
And it was 2.5 years because we traded him.
That's true.
Right?
I actually genuinely forgot about that. Blacked that part out of my memory.
Yeah, we blacked out 2024. We don't like to think about 2024.
Now, we got a couple donos in here that we got to go over real quick. So thank you to everybody that's donated, that's liked, that's subscribed to the channel. That we appreciate this so much. I mean, Ross is going insane mode.
Yeah.
So you would be insane to not subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for what is going to be one hell of an offseason. I have some more stuff that I want to get to that's kind of been percolating in my mind.
Okay.
But first things first, let's just give a quick shout out to a couple of these guys. We got one up here from Nanny Squares. Miss you guys. Don't always catch you. Buy a coffee on Nanny Squares. Thank you.
Hell yeah,
Thank you.
Nanny Squares.
Can you guys believe it? I was out getting the coffee with my mom today, and it literally was for 2 coffees around that amount, closing in on that.
Jesus.
It's insanity.
Wait, where'd you go?
Okay, well, we didn't go to the Drake Hotel.
Okay.
We sat down in the Drake Hotel, but again, I got a black coffee. She got some latte, something. It was like $11.
Dude, it's insane, man.
It's genuinely insanity.
Get a Keurig, and you'll save so much money.
Olms here with a $6.99 saying, funny thing about the Ryu contract, it started mending fences with Scott Boras, who wouldn't deal with the Jays, if you guys remember.
Yes,
I actually didn't remember that.
I do, yeah, because he was the first Scott Boras client that I remember that was notable. And then slowly Scott Boras is like, hey, to the rest of MLB, these Blue Jays, they're pretty serious over here. And then it slowly came one after another, after another, after another. And now Scott Boras loves
I'll
us.
tell you, he fucking loves the Toronto Blue Jays now.
I wonder why, because he brings up the prices of his other clients, and then we'll actually pay if our client does want to go with the Blue Jays.
You know what? It's a very one-sided relationship, though, because he likes to use us as leverage every now and again.
Exactly.
So
but that's why he loves us.
Yeah, exactly. We play into his hand quite frequently.
But we don't even care. We don't care. We're not
Give me the free agents. I don't care, man. And recently he has been doing so. We got one more donation in here. This is from Ann Beacock. Barrios is one of my favorite pitchers. I hate to see him go. From just an overall player standpoint, I really do have a lot of respect for Jose. There's no sour feelings whatsoever. And when we initially traded for Jose Barrios, that's actually in the span of this podcast. Funny enough, we're getting the full circle moment soon with Jose, and Kevin Gosman will be coming up. It is exciting, honestly, for us. But when that first happened, I was extremely excited about that signing. I was always in his corner thinking this guy could have the upside. He could really develop. And he was good for us. Never developed into the ace I was hoping for. So I will be sad to see him go just from a fan standpoint.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think we had a lot of expectations too for him, because when you looked around the Blue Jays, it was just Ryu and then it was Barrios, and he was immediately our number 2. And for a long time, he was the number 2. He was the number 3. But we're at a point now where those teams, they weren't World Series caliber because they weren't winning, right? Or at least enough in the postseason. Now we have World Series expectations. And actually, I just thought about this because this guy signed today, Alek Manoah. He just signed to the Angels, and I had this full circle moment. It's like, Alek Manoah wasn't good enough for us. We couldn't wait around for him. We can't wait because we have time to grow and develop.
Yeah.
We need guys who can win right now. Give me the MVP of the KBO. Give me the guys who had the most strikeouts and most starts in baseball in the last 4 years in Dylan Cease. It's time to win right now, which makes me excited about the prospect of getting someone very big this upcoming winter meetings, whether it be a Kyle Tucker or Edwin Diaz. I feel very confident in that.
Just to piggyback very quickly, because I do want to transition into that next, but just to piggyback off of what you were saying there, where it's like, the roster's just getting better. For everybody out there, should he get traded? We don't know if it's going to happen yet, but should Jose Barrios get traded, the one thing that you can kind of hold your hat on is he is a good pitcher, but he's not good enough for the Jays. Right? At this current point in time, he is a good pitcher. I don't want to take that away from him. He's actually, I genuinely believe that. But right now, the Toronto roster is becoming so deep, knock on wood, I hope I don't eat these words in a few months, but it's becoming so deep that, we're actually, I guess, entering a new tier where Jose Barrios isn't. So
Yeah, because you look at all the guys, right? You have guys like, Kevin Gosman's a lock for 32 starts, amazing pitching stuff. Same with Dylan Cease, right? 32 starts, 33 starts even some years, incredible wipeout stuff. You want the upside of Trey Savage. What could he be? Great, rookie contract. And then you got Cody Ponce now, who's essentially like, okay, we want to play with the upside here. What can you do in the big leagues after winning an MVP in the KBO? And then you got Shane Bieber, who is a proven Cy Young before in the past, and you want to see a full inning out of him. Jose Barrios, what did he provide? he provides you stability, but so does all these other guys. They
Right.
all provide stability. So your upside isn't as up anymore. And I love the dude, but it would be time to move on and maybe flirt with a trade. And I expect, I'm going to be completely honest, I don't know what the fuck we're going to get a trade for him for. Like, it probably won't be a hell of a lot. Like, bullpen?
It starts to feel from the other side like a bit of a salary dump.
It feels
if
like a
you're
salary
them,
dump.
right? It does,
You know?
kind of. So I don't know if he's going to move the needle that much for other teams, but if you could get a bullpen piece, or if he could end up being one of the pieces for a Ketel Marte trade, I think I'm stretching a little bit, but if he could be one of the several things you got to give up there, I would certainly be happy about
they do
that.
need pitching.
Now, for those, because we got some Jose Brios lovers in here,
Yep.
for those Chris Bassett, Max Scherzer lovers out there, because there's certainly a community of those people. For those individuals, how should they be feeling right now? Because I'm starting to think that we will not be seeing those guys again.
Again, like, especially Max Scherzer. You add in Max Scherzer now. Okay, what's his upside? What's his thing that he provides?
Coach.
He's a veteran dude. He's done it before. He's seen everything. But he'll only give you like 15 starts and a few postseason starts if he's healthy during the time. So it's like, again, like I'm outweighing. There's other things outweighing him right here. And then Chris Bassett, he provides you stability. He provides you depth. If you trade Barrios, like maybe you could convince Bassett to come in as a bullpen long relief guy, but I find it hard to believe. If they want to do it, like, fuck it, like, let's ride. And like, if Chris Bassett, because he's never won a World Series, has a mentality where, like, you know what, I don't care where you put me. He had that mentality last year.
Right.
Put me in the bullpen. I don't care. I want to win a ring. Then Chris Bassett can come back. Max Scherzer, probably not that guy. He probably wants to retire or start for another team.
And honestly, would Scherzer be effective out of the pen? I don't know at this point in his career. And let's be clear, we're big Scherzer guys, okay? He's been on the show before. We love him to death. And if he did want to come back and literally be a glue guy, I'm down for it. But yeah, just from an actual where are we going to play you, I don't know how many spots are left open at this point.
Yeah,
and for Chris Bassett, to your point, if he did want to do that, he wants to be the long man in the bullpen. I sure as hell ain't going to stop him. But at this current point, I don't see Toronto offering him a starting spot in the rotation anymore with everybody that you have. You just brought in Cody Ponce. It's like the last maybe time, and it wasn't even questionable, but the last kind of questionable spot you just filled in there. And in Fangraphs, they got Trey Savage on the bench. So it just doesn't make sense at this point.
AAA.
In AAA. Yeah. And so Chris Bassett, whereas like he could definitely go out and on another team, I'm just throwing the Angels out there because they seemingly always do this.
That's the retirement home of baseball.
It kind of feels that way. But somebody like the Angels, they'll give him a starting spot in his rotation. 100% they
Again,
would.
it all depends on what he wants because, yeah, we've heard that he's a great clubhouse dude. He loves the boys. And if Ernie wants him back and he's been fighting for him to come back, that would be great. You want to sign a 10-year, or sorry, 10 year.
Jesus Christ.
We get a 10-year, $10 million deal. No, a $10 million deal for 1 year. Be my guest. Come win a World Series. If you truly think this is your best chance, then come here. Because honestly, the only other team that I think has got a bet, this is probably bias coming in here. The only other team that's a better chance is the Dodgers.
The only other team with a definitive better chance.
Yeah, is the Dodgers.
You could make arguments about other teams like
Seattle.
LA's. Yeah, exactly. Like you could convince yourself it's like, oh, we could do it there, or we could do it in Philadelphia. Like there's other spots. The only team though that you can 100% say is LA, just because it is LA. Yeah. But you have almost as good of a shot as any to win a ring in Toronto.
You are right there, and you're seeing the Blue Jays actively get better right now.
Oh, totally.
Obviously, they need to get one of Kyle Tucker or Bo Bichette, which is what the industry thinks is going to happen. They're going to get one or the other, which could be crazy when that happens, one of those two things. But if that happens, you got better. So do you want a chance to get those final 2 outs in Game 7 of the World Series? Come play in the bullpen, Chris.
I got one more thing that I want to talk about, but before we do, let's give a quick shout out here to Ohms with a $13.99 donation. Isn't it crazy how we had an argument and I was saying how bad the Blue Jays were and I was pissed off 8 months ago and you guys were trying to be positive and now look, love being wrong. Hey, if you're going to be wrong about anything, that is something to be good and wrong about, okay? The Toronto Blue Jays have been proving a lot of people wrong this year, and I certainly have been proven wrong time and time again. I ain't complaining.
Dude, we have so many wrong, bad takes, and that's just part of being human and part of being a sports fan. There's a classic saying we say here on Blue Jays Today. we don't know anything. Like, we come on here and we talk, we give our opinion, and we give our best advice, but what's going to happen? We don't know.
Truth is, nobody does.
Nobody does. So to pretend already like you don't, like to pretend already that you do know what's going to happen, like, fuck, next year, I'm saying, like, yeah, we got to go back to the World Series. We might not make playoffs. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but, like, that could be in the realm of possibility, just like how last year we thought we were going to miss playoffs, and then we went to the World Series. So we don't know anything. We just got to enjoy the ride, everybody.
Exactly. And listen, the ride's been fun recently.
Been fun.
Okay, the ride has been really fun, and Ross is doing his best to keep the ride going in the offseason. Like, I feel like I haven't really got off the ride yet.
No, and not at all. Not at all. Everyone's still going up.
I'm still on the fucking ride. Like, that was just Act 1.
It's December 2nd. Remember how many off seasons by December 2nd we still had nobody?
Oh, a lot of them. In fact, I remember this past off season. I remember that it was going. I'm like, dude, we're missing out. I remember we had several moments where, like, we're missing out on everybody, it genuinely came down to Santander or bust.
Dude, and that's why. Can you believe that we popped a bottle for Santander?
Who did literally
nothing.
Like, nothing.
That's also another guy. Cool. Maybe he comes back, makes a comeback. But that's for another conversation. We've got Ann Beacock, who's been a member for 7 months, saying, what could we get for Brios and Bassett closer? So Bassett's on the team, so we actually can't trade him away. Yeah. But for Barrios, honestly,
it's so tough to say.
A middle relief pitcher kind of value, like a guy that maybe a 2-year middle relief pitcher.
If a team values him like he's still a really good pitcher, then they could convince themselves, okay, we're trading for a good pitcher on a 1-year deal, and he's going to pitch a lot of innings for us. He's going to start 32 times. If they don't feel like he's that good anymore, then you're starting to think about it from the other side of the coin, where it's, well, now we're trading for a middling to bad pitcher who's going to end up being a 3-year deal. Now we're going to be on the hook for a lot of money. So you're going to need to, like, and the good news for the Jays is anybody that is trading for Jose Barrios, they got to like him a little bit. Yeah. So they must be the side of the coin that thinks that we're trading for a good pitcher.
Hey, we missed on all these pitchers. We just need a 4-5 guy to get us innings. The Blue Jays are giving us one, and he's got a player option. Hell yeah.
I'd even go so far to say he could be a 3.
Could even be a 3. He could be a 3. What's
it's
a 3?
It's Jose Barrios, you know?
What's a 3? An ERA between 3.5 and 4? Like, yeah, that's a 3. That's a solid 3. So we'll see what happens in that market. We got another shout out to Olms right here, the 699 Donut, saying, all right, salute, boys. I'm out. Don't forget, #1 on top of the fan list. Just saying, LOL. Well, shout out to Olms, who's been #1 on this stream for the fans.
Appreciate that, my friend, and appreciate everybody that's been tuning in, been liking, subscribing. Again, so much more content on the way. Let's take a moment. I know that you're going to make a video about this tomorrow morning, but we already have people in the chat wondering, what's next? Is it Diaz? Is it Tucker? Are we gonna blow things out of the water? It's gonna be Pete Alonso. Nobody saw it coming. So far, it's been the nobody saw it coming show, because I didn't see Cease and I certainly didn't see this guy.
Right.
So you never know what could happen. But let's put our Ross Atkins hat on, because we're less than a week away from winter meetings. What could happen? What do you think is gonna happen next?
I think we go get a closer. And whether it be a Pete Fairbanks or an Edwin Diaz, that market has been developing on the side pretty rapidly. And I think we go out and we get that done. Like, the Blue Jays are jumping on this starting pitching market. No other starting pitching is signed right now. It's just been, literally, it's been Cody Ponce and it's been Dylan Cease. We're all over it. I think Ross wants to secure what needs to be done, which is what we've been saying all offseason. Go get the starters. Go get the bullpen guys. Then we can go focus on the winter meetings, negotiate with Kyle Tucker, Bo Bichette, whatever, and we'll focus all of our energy on that later. So I think that as that market's about to finish, to get all the big boys off the board, he wants to get in there, get a deal done, then focus and turn his attention to Kyle Tucker.
The most active market so far has been the closing market.
Yeah.
Really, the only people that are operating with the starters are the frickin' Blue Jays, man. Like, Ross Atkins is just firing. He's firing the "you up" texts at 2 a.m. He's just firing all those shots. But this time they're responding, and we're from that starting pitching market. Like, he is just going out and he's getting his guy. But most of the other teams have been looking at that pitching market. You saw Devin Williams go. Iglesias, they were looking at him. He obviously went. Helsley went, which was another guy that certainly in years prior the Toronto Blue Jays have been interested in. So that has been the most active market, and I just don't see somebody like an Edwin Diaz making it past Christmas.
Yeah,
I think he's going within 10 days from now.
I agree, and maybe I'm entering crazy land right here, but let's say because you just got Dylan Cease, you just got Cody Ponce. Let's say you get one of Diaz, one of Fairbanks. Obviously, Diaz is better. But let's say you get Diaz. If I'm Kyle Tucker, I'm going, damn, the Blue Jays are
if
being
there's a deal on the table for me, like,
and I'm considering it, I take that. Now, if I'm Bo Bichette, and if the Blue Jays have the money, this is crazy land, I'm just telling you, this is crazy land. If they had the money, if I'm Bo Bichette, I'm thinking, well, what the fuck am I even doing? I want to play for one team my whole life. I want to play with Vladdy. And my team just they're having an MVP level offseason right now for history to come. Of course, I'll come back if you give me the deal I want.
Yeah, well, again,
crazy. It's crazy land.
Crazy.
But what I'm trying to say is by adding players that are elite are only going to attract more players. And we've seen this in seasons or off seasons past with the Mets, with the Dodgers. It's like a snowball. You add one guy, then another guy, then a bigger guy comes in because they're like, oh, I see what you're doing. Boom, I'm in. We've said that in the past when we're trying to attract Ohtani and Juan Soto. We're like, we got to go grab this guy to make him want to come play for us. Well, we're grabbing those guys now.
We are.
So come play for us.
I'll tell you what, man. Like, they're on pace right now to have an LA Dodgers offseason because they've already got themselves a massive ace-level pitcher in the rotation. They also got a could-be exciting, again, starting pitcher, rotational spot right there. If they go out and they do end up getting one of Fairbanks or Diaz, even if it's Fairbanks, and then they re-sign Bo Bichette, I mean, I am looking at that offseason and thinking that's an A+. You nailed the assignment. Not only did you get back what you were losing, but you built on it. Let's not even forget the Shane Bieber deal, which was awesome.
Shane Bieber.
That was awesome.
Great.
So they brought him back too. You do that, and then, hey, maybe even sprinkle in a little Jose Barrios trade, shed some money off the books, bring in somebody that we're more excited about. I mean, like, Ross Atkins is on the precipice of cooking like he's never cooked before.
Yes, he is, man. And it starts right here with, of course, the Dylan Cease, Shane Bieber actually first signing, and now Cody Ponce. So you got these 3 deals, 3 pitchers. Think about that. 3 starting pitchers all came back to the Blue Jays
2 outs
that
away,
were free agents. And we're 2 outs away.
2 outs away. We want more pitchers. We got to get those outs.
So I think we go get a pitcher. Are you kind of in the same vein as me that Ross is going to try and pull a trigger before winter meetings?
Well, he's been doing it. So I think he's trying to do it. He's trying to pull off as many deals as possible before winter meetings because he just does not want to get there. He doesn't want to have to deal with that competition. So he's going to shoot his shots, and you might hear some rumblings about Edwin Diaz. If I had to bet my life on it, I am thinking that the next move is going to be one of those 2 relievers. It feels like Fairbanks is more likely just because
pedigree
and whatever, right? But again, he's been on another crazy level of elite this season, Ross Atkins has, so maybe Edwin Diaz is the guy. And then for me, you're really waiting for Kyle Tucker to make his decision. And if he makes his decision and comes to Toronto, holy shit, I mean, put the statue up for Ross Atkins now, because that would be incredible. But if he doesn't, I'm still okay with that, because I think that is going to be the catalyst to get the Bo Bichette deal done and bring him back to Toronto.
What an offseason so far, guys. You cannot be mad if you're a Blue Jays fan. Honestly, who's having a better offseason right now than the Toronto Blue Jays?
Nobody is.
No, like, literally, we could say right now, no one's had a $200 million signing, and we got another dude, and we got Shane Bieber back, the other dude being Cody Ponce, of course, no disrespect, because he's on the title of the video. But, like, we got all these guys, and we're favorites for 2 of the biggest bats right now. My goodness. There's more to come. There's more to come, ladies and gentlemen. But if you are enjoying the content, make sure to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button, everybody. We're not going anywhere. I got a video coming out tomorrow. We got podcasts on Thursday, a live show that we do every Friday. And then, of course, the winter meetings coming up next week. We'll be live on Sunday, live on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It will be a lot of fun. So you want to subscribe and be around for it all.
Thanks so much, everybody. Best community on the goddamn internet. I didn't realize that I was still on the ride. I'm still on the goddamn ride. I never actually got off. Ross Atkins, they made me think I got off. I never fucking got off. I'm still on it right now, folks. If you want to stay on it with us, like Adam said, do all the stuff, hit all the buttons. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. And as always, go Jays, go!
Got it.